Hi, if you're new to our channel, we're a couple of 50-somethings trying to restore / renovate an old farmhouse by ourselves in Ireland, and also create a small holding / homestead and have a small business from using the land and by creating things ourselves to sell. So this laser, along with the Creality Ender 3 printer that I already have, are going to play an important part in how we achieve our goals. So when Creality approached us and asked us to review their latest laser engraver, the Falcon2 22 watt, we would have been silly to have turned this kind of offer down. So Creality reached out and said, we've got an engraver, would you like to review it? Here we are. I've opened the box in excitement to check the contents, and that's it really. Let's unbox it, take it out, set it up and see how that goes. Right, move. Okay, so there's all the bits and pieces in there. Now the nice thing with this engraver is the frame is already built, it's all assembled, and there are just a few simple steps to actually get it up and running. Move that out of the way. Right. Turn it around that way. Right, let's see how long this takes. There we go. Stop the clock, in the words of Annika Rice. It's 5 minutes. I have watched YouTube videos of people setting these up, so I did have an idea of what went where and the various bits and pieces. But as a complete newcomer to laser engraving, that was so simple. Really, really simple. What I do like, let me bring this up initially, let me just unplug that, there we go. So where your feet go, you've actually got 3 positions for the feet. Now that means if you've got a smaller table, you can move the feet in and then just have the overhang on the table, so you don't need a massive table to be able to fit this on. It will fit on smaller tables too. Now, this unit is the air assist. Now, the air assist, or the air assist module, it's an air pump. And what the air pump does is it blows air onto the work as it's being engraved or being cut out. Because it's not only an engraver, it's also a cutter as well. So it will cut up to 15 mil, this 22 watt will cut up to 15 mil wood in a single pass. You watch the videos and people talk about in 1 pass, 2 pass, a pass basically being, there's your laser and it cuts through. If it cuts it through in one go, that's 1 pass, and this will cut 15 mil timber in 1 pass, and it will cut 0.05 mil stainless steel, which doesn't sound a lot, but you're talking stainless steel, so it's a powerful machine. So the integrated air assist, it's integrated because it's just all air. the pipes are all connected, you plug it into your air pump and that's it, it's set up. There's a manual adjust wheel there for the amount of airflow. So that's the manual method, but also within Lightburn you can control it from in the software as well. Now, other safety features, and this has so many safety features. On most lower end laser engravers you don't get an emergency stop button. On here, if there's any problems, you press the stop button, the engraver stops there and then. You've got your power switch on the side, your main power switch, and then also, and these are a must for it to work, you have keys as well. There we go. So when you get it, it's in the off position. To even turn it on, you have to put it in the on position. So if you've got kids, obviously you don't want them playing with it, it's a powerful laser, you turn it off, you take the keys out, that's it, it can't be used. And also the laser head itself has 3 different safety features on it, and when it's switched on you'll see you've got the amount of airflow. When it's too little it's red, when there's a low amount it's amber, and then when there's a big airflow it's green. Now Creality do say when they're engraving, or when you're engraving, have a lower airflow, but when you're actually cutting have a large airflow. So if there's any problems, that light there will let you know. There's also a lens indicator. Now if your lens gets dirty, it's very simple to take the lens out and give that a clean. You also get a spare lens should it become damaged. But when your lens is dirty, that will go from green to red. And then lastly, on the laser unit, it has fire detection. If it detects a fire, it's going to stop the machine, it's going to stop engraving or stop cutting, and what was a green light will go red. So that's another great safety feature. Another one, when it's printing, when it's engraving, sorry, if your dog was to jump on the table and knock it off level, it's going to stop engraving again. So it does have a sensor which, if it's tilting, it will stop, because you really don't want your laser shooting around your room. So that's a great feature. And then in each of the 4 corners there are sensors, and you'll hear it. Now that click is the limit switch, and you've got one there, one at the front, another one at the front, and another one at the back. So if the piece of work you're trying to engrave or cut is too large and it hits that limit switch, again it's going to stop, it's going to beep at you. So the safety features on this are really, really good. Anyway, let's go on to the next step, which is to put the protective board down, and in our case the honeycomb, which I'll explain in a minute. Right, so as standard in the box, this is the protection plate, and that goes on your table, and when you're cutting materials, it stops the laser shooting down and trying to cut your kitchen table or your workbench, whatever it is. So this is the size you get as standard in the box when you buy this engraver. Now Creality very kindly sent us an upgrade, so we've got a full-size protection sheet which goes in there, and a great piece of kit. Now this is a honeycomb bed. Now because of the air assist, which is part of this engraver, with your work on top of here, the air blows right through when it's cutting and gives you a much cleaner cut there's no charring on the underside, and that is down to the air assist and the fact that you can upgrade to this honeycomb. Everybody does recommend you buy the honeycomb because it does make a world of difference. And that literally sits in there like that. Right. Right, so that doesn't get in the way. So like I say, this is an optional extra, but well worth it. When you see tests with and without, the honeycomb does make a big difference to the end result of your material. Right, now also in the box you get 3 pieces of basswood. It's not a name I'm familiar with, but it seems to be a ply, and this is 2mm thick, and this is what we will use to print the example Creality logo with. So this is quite free to move, and at the moment the machine's off, so there's no resistance, so you can move them backwards and forwards gently, but you can move them backwards and forwards. Right, so that's that. Now also, which I didn't show you earlier, in the box you get a little toolbox, and you get a cleaning cloth, and under that there's a new lens should your lens become damaged, some extra screws, some Allen wrenches, SD card adapters and an SD card. Now on the SD card there are the user manual in digital format, there's sample files, there's frequently asked questions, various bits and pieces, and they all live on the SD card. It is worth backing it up just in case it would become corrupted like any other SD card really. Right, so another thing you get in the box is this little guide. Now this is so you can adjust the height of your laser to give it the optimum engraving or cutting. So this is a cutting thickness of basswood of greater than 6mm. Now that moves the laser head closer to the work because you're going to be cutting a thicker piece of timber than this step, which is a cutting thickness of 4 to 6mm, and the top one is engraving or cutting of 1 to 3mm. So that's one we're going to do because the basswood is 2mm thick. So you quite literally undo your thumb screws, slide it onto the height you need, and do your thumb screws back up. So that's now the laser module set to the optimum height for the required thickness of what we're going to be cutting. Now one of the sample files, like I say, is the Creality man, the little logo. So what I've done with that is copied that file from its folder and put it onto the main folder of the SD card. Yes, I needed a computer to do that, or whatever device you're moving files around with, but the beauty of this machine is you don't need to be connected to a computer to use it. With that file on there now, round this side, by the on-off switch, by the power cable, by the USB connector, which is to connect it to your computer, you have an SD card slot. Quite simply, oh, wrong way. In it goes. So when the engraver gets turned on now, it's going to see that file, and that would be the file it will read and engrave. So for the first time, let's turn it on. We've got the key is in the on position. Now the stop switch, sometimes in the box it has been pressed, so give that a twist just to make sure it's on, it's up, and we turn it on. Right, so it's saying it's ready. The laser head, as you can see, we've got air flowing, which is what the noise is. Now if I turn the airflow down manually using the knob on the side I said about, you see it goes amber to say it's a low airflow, and now it's red because it's stopped. So that's a great detection. There's no fires and the lens is clean. There we go, so the air pump stopped at the moment, so the laser module's telling us that it has stopped. Now again, using it, they call it offline, using it without a computer, just with the SD card, you get to use the buttons on the front. If we press the home button, it's going to take us to the front left. So there, that's now in its home position. Now when we press the frame button, it's going to read the contents of that file on the SD card, and it's going to show us the work area we need. So that's just going to go round and round and round. And I don't know if you can see, there's a little orange dot indicating the work area it needs. It disappears when it gets to the back, which means our piece of wood isn't far enough back. So I'm just going to press the frame button again to stop that. Move this back. Now there's two ways you can do this. That's moving the actual piece. Right, so I've now moved it too far back. So what I'm going to do on the controls at the front, I'm going to tell it literally to move, which way do I need? Backwards. So as you can see now, the little orange dot is staying on the workpiece. And now it's just a case of pressing the play button and it will start engraving. Here we go. Right, so while that's doing that, it gives me a great opportunity to tell you a little bit about it and initial observations. One of the questions is, what is the working bed size of the Creality Falcon2 22 watt laser engraver? And it's 400mm by 415. Now when you say it like that, it doesn't sound that large. It is large. You think that's nearly half a metre. You're able to engrave and cut nearly half a metre of your selected material. So it is a huge working space. The one thing I do notice with it is how stable the machine is while it's engraving and cutting. The frame doesn't wobble. It has little silicone feet at the bottom of the risers, and that really does grip the table. So stability I have no worries about. It doesn't seem to move left, right, backwards or forwards as the laser's moving. Software, it uses or can use a variety of ready available software. Now the most popular is Laser GRBL, and that is free software, but the recommended is Lightburn. Now Lightburn isn't free. There's a 1 month trial and it seems to be an unlimited all function trial, but it will cost €60 after that month. To be honest, I think if you've spent the money you've spent on the engraver itself and then maybe the honeycomb bed and the enclosure, the €60, it is worth every penny, because it will make using the engraver more enjoyable. So I will time lapse this and see how it goes. Right, so 21 minutes to do the little man, and we'll pick that up in a minute. What I did fail to mention is not only do you get the laser eye protection goggles, which are important, also built into the laser unit there's also a laser protective screen there as well, so that's going to stop if you don't have the goggles on, although it's highly suggested. If you don't have the goggles on, you're not going to be dazzled by the laser due to the protective screen that's already on there. But like I say, it is advisable to wear your goggles as well. Safety first. So let's have a look and see what we've got. So 21 minutes. Out of the box took 5-6 minutes to assemble. I copied the file onto the SD card. I got the material in the right place, and let's have a look. So it's cut it out, no problem whatsoever. Now you can see on the back there's no charring at all due to the air assist, and also there's no charcoal on my fingers when I rub it around, so it's a very, very clean cut. Now the engraving, I wasn't sure if it was just going to burn the surface. It doesn't, it engraves. That's got a good depth on it all the way around, so it does give details and not just a picture, if you like. Now you will have noticed, or you may have noticed, at the start of it I went and I set up a fan. Now because we're engraving wood, in effect burning wood and cutting wood out, it does get smoky. And I also zoomed in when it started to cut the wood. The engraving wasn't too smoky. Cutting the wood, it did get smoky, as you will have seen. That's why I set the fan up. Now Creality also do a big laser engraver enclosure, and basically it goes over the entire unit. It has a fan at the side and an exhaust, so you could run it in your house with the exhaust going out your window or out your garage door, your shed door, and it means you can be in the same environment as you're doing your engraving. When it comes to cutting acrylic with these, the fumes aren't pleasant, and you really wouldn't want to be in the same room if it's not within an enclosure. So we were burning wood or engraving wood and cutting wood. We opened the door, we had the fan on, and to be fair, we didn't stand over it inhaling all of the smoke. So that's just something to bear in mind. If you are going to get one, really consider the enclosure, because then you're not limited to where you can have the engraver. So that is, I'm really pleased with that. A complete novice to laser engraving and cutting. Really within 10-15 minutes we're up and running and confident enough to be able to do our first engraving and cutting out of the little man. The finish is great, really pleased, and the air assist, like I say, does stop the charring on the back. It makes a big difference, which other laser engravers do suffer from because they don't have the integrated air assist. Now there are a couple of points I need to touch on. The speed of this machine, although that took 21 minutes, depending on the material you're working with, you can turn the speed up and have less power. If you've got thinner materials, you could have more power and turn the speed up. For this, you could probably cut this down to say 15 minutes, maybe 10. So to be able to churn these out every 10 minutes, if you had them laid out, the commercial value of it, you could knock these out all day long, or whatever it is you're producing to sell or to give away as presents, things like that. Right, so the speed is 25,000 millimeters a minute, so it is a super fast, or up to 25,000 millimeters a minute, so it is a fast engraver. Now also, and I will look at my notes, I've mentioned about it cutting the 15mm wood in one pass. It will cut 10mm black acrylic in one pass. I've said about the stainless steel, and you do get a very smooth cut, which I've demonstrated with the basswood that the little Creality man was cut out of. Now it's also capable of creating lots and lots of different colours on stainless steel. Now unfortunately at the moment we don't have any sheets of stainless steel to be able to show you. The next video, where we will reveal our plans of what it is we're going to be creating, will contain stainless steel, so please look out for our second video on this. Just to round up, as I said before, a complete beginner to laser engraving, this was simple. Yes, I watched a couple of videos in advance on YouTube. That's what YouTube's for. The setup process was easy, I think due to the fact that the frame was all built for me already. Dropping the laser module in, connecting the air assist, even down to the little adjuster for the height of the laser for the optimum distance. The safety features are simple. It gives you the confidence that if there was to be a fire, you know you can shut this machine off just by hitting the red button. It will shut off. The fact that the laser unit itself has 3 different safety things on it, monitoring the lens, monitoring for a flame, monitoring for airflow. It just fills you with confidence. So from me, it really is a thumbs up. As I've mentioned, I've already got a Creality 3D printer. Love that, and I've upgraded it and done this to it and done that to it. Also a laser module. Dawn bought me a laser module for that, which turns your 3D printer into a laser engraver. It's nowhere near, I think it might have been 6 watt if I remember rightly. This is 22 watt. This is made up of 4 6 watt diodes, which then concentrate to 24 watts, but then you do get some loss on the laser power, which is why it's sold as a 22 watt. So all around an absolutely fantastic bit of kit. Thank you very, very much to Creality for letting us review this. You didn't know it was something that would benefit us so much in the future of what we're thinking of doing. So this combined with the 3D printer and other bits and pieces we've got in mind, it's great. So please do keep an eye out for our next video, where we will, like I say, reveal what we've got in mind, and hopefully they're big ideas, but we will see. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you soon. Bye bye.